Let's show this poll where Americans just don't care. Well, I mean, Republicans don't care if he's indicted. Should it disqualify him for running for president? 57% say yes, only 23% in the Republican Party.
What?
Yeah. Wow.
Jonathan.
And 75% of Republicans say it shouldn't disqualify him for running for president. 75% say this should not.
Three out of four. I used to be a Republican. I don't know if you guys knew that or not.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I used to run for Congress.
When was that? When was that, Joe?
I used
to still be.
And when literally, I've told the story before. Mika loves this story. It's very revealing about my dad. We were driving around in my first re-elect. I had 73% of the vote, and I was sitting in the front seat. We were picking up yard signs, and I thought my dad was going to be proud. Who the hell are those 27%? Joey, you got to go after them.
Yeah.
What in the hell is going? So
George.
People want to know why I'm crazy, because that's how all Republicans used to be. We used to despise losing, hate it. And now they're just a bunch of losers. They want to lose.
Yeah, it's hard to see. As stronger as Trump is getting in the primary, he's going to be that much weaker in the general election. Like, what voter voted for him in 16, broke away from him in 20, and now says to themselves, you know what? 2024, now's the time. I like what Trump's done these last 4 years. That farmers video really got me. I'm for him right now. And that's what the Democrats are looking at, too. And they understand there are some perhaps enthusiasm issues coming with President Biden, but they look at this potential rematch, this matchup, and they go, well, people are going to turn out, those independents and swing voters, as well as Democrats coming out, to turn out to vote against
What did
Trump.
we learn in the
Trump.
midterm elections? What we learned in the midterm elections, Jen, is that Joe Biden's low poll numbers, and Republicans, you don't have to believe this if you don't want to. I don't care. I want you to keep losing as long as you act like fascists. Joe Biden's low poll numbers, they're false positives. His numbers are low because people think he's old.
Yep.
They think he's too old to be president. They love his policies. They think maybe he doesn't have the energy. They want somebody younger, somebody more vital. When push comes to shove, and one of my kids told me this the other day. She said, you can start having conversations now with friends that we disagree with. She said it's the weirdest thing. Like, nobody likes Joe Biden. Yet everybody understands it because Joe Biden, the temperature's gone down like 30 degrees. I said, that's the best thing I have heard all week. And it's true. So maybe people are like, oh, he's too old. I don't want to. But at the end of the day, they're false positives. We found that out in the midterm elections. And Republicans, again, running the clown car off the cliff. They're just going to lose again to Biden.
I mean, the public proved in 20, they proved in 22. They understand what's at stake. They understand they understand the democracy's on the line. They understand the big issues that are on the line, and they're going to turn out. They turned out in big droves to vote against him in 20. They turned out in big droves to vote against election deniers in 22. And, I presume they'll.
I don't know where the strategists are. Big picture for the Republican Party. But here's a. Go ahead.
Can I just make one small amendment to that, Joe?
Yeah.
If I'm Joe Biden's team,
Run.
I'm not psyched about a large number of people in the country worried about who don't like the idea of a president in his 80s. And I'm really worried that the Republicans will get their act together and put forward somebody who's not Donald Trump.
Yeah, but they're not.
But that's my thing. It's like that. This is what makes it even crazier for the Republican Party, because if there were actually somebody in charge of the Republican Party, you'd be sitting there going, this guy, whatever people think about his policies, they don't like the idea of a guy in his 80s as president. If we just put somebody up who's a normal candidate, we have a decent shot here.
When somebody keeps losing, I always say, what do you want? You want to turn things around? Yeah, I go, you got to change the dynamic. Yes. What's the dynamic you have to change so the game changes?
Totally.
So your business changes. Change the dynamic. Republicans, they're not doing it. And as long as you don't change that dynamic, if you've lost in 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, you're going to lose in 24. But they're not, because if it's Ron DeSantis versus Joe Biden, we all have our problems with Ron DeSantis. You've just changed the dynamic, and the Biden team has a reason to be very worried. Yes. If it's Trump, Biden, go to France for a month. He's lost his mind. He's given you. He now is fighting his own children. He said he wanted to terminate the Constitution. Go to
And
the
their
south of
inheritance.
France. They'll still win.
And what did you really learn in 2022, which is that the country doesn't like election denial. They don't like that insurrection. They didn't like what happened on Capitol Hill January 6th. And who's the guy that Republicans are rallying behind? The guy who's up on stage with the January 6th convict choir.
The convict
That's,
choir.
Talking about not changing the dynamic.
The convict
Talk about
choir.
sticking your hand in a wood chipper over and over
I
again. It's like,
can't-
what are you
I
doing?
can't.
It's just really, it's unbelievable.
sick.
They got the convict choir. Donald Trump says he wants to terminate the Constitution.
Yes. Yes.
And look at the numbers. Wants to terminate the Constitution. And Mika, there's a new piece in the St. Louis
Yep.
Dispatch.
So this is sort of back.